This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Joel Salomon. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I am doing awesome. Thanks so much for having me here.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to have you here virtually. Yeah? What part of the world are you in right now?
I am in New York. I'm in the northeastern part of the United States, and it's a great place to be. I say New York is and I'm biased, of course, but I say New York City is the greatest city in the world.
Oh, there we go. Well, do tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
I would say, first of all, my prosperity coaching. I help people become financially free by teaching them the basics of investing, personal finance, but most importantly about money mindset and how to shift their mindset from lack and scarcity to prosperity and abundance. And I've only been doing this the last 3 years because I was working in the financial world my whole career, and I started my own hedge fund, which I thought was my dream from the 1990s, and I achieved my dream, and then 3 years later, while doing my dream, I had an epiphany that I was supposed to be helping individuals become financially free. So that's what I'm doing now.
What did that epiphany look like? Like, what was it? Was it a specific date? How did it happen?
Great question. So I was at a personal development course, and two things happened at that course that really changed my life. One was they had a guest speaker speaking about stocks and stock options. And whenever he's talking about stock options, he made it sound like it was a get-rich-quick scheme. You don't need much time. You don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich. And I was sick to my stomach. And people in the course, this was the second day of the course, they knew that I was a hedge fund manager. They would tap me on the shoulder, whisper in my ear that, Joel, does this make sense? So we went outside after this was a guest speaker, his 1 hour presentation. And I said, please don't do this. He has no idea about your balance sheet, how much money you make. He has no idea about your mindset related to stock options, your belief system. And he was effectively, from my perspective, really being misleading to these people. And I realized that I could do a better job being up on stage and being authentic and teaching people what the real truth is. So that was one thing that happened. The second thing that happened was we were given a wooden board about 2 inches thick, and we were told we were going to break it with our bare hand. And it was the exercise was called Obstacles or Illusions. And on one side we had to write our main obstacle. On the other side we had to write our ultimate goal. And I wrote as my main obstacle raising more money for my hedge fund for it to be a long-term viable entity. And on the other side, I wrote my ultimate goal was helping everybody in this room become financially free. And then I broke that board like everyone else did in that room. And I went home that night and I realized I couldn't sleep. I realized there was a non sequitur. What did raising more money for my hedge fund have anything to do with helping the people in this room? And I literally went into my office the next morning and I sent an email to my investors telling them I figured out my true purpose in life. I'm giving you your money back. I'm shutting down my fund, and I'm going to become a coach to help people.
What was their reaction? Did they say, "Are you crazy, Joel?"
So this gave me confirmation because I did not get a response from anyone from that email. And so I literally had to call them up and reach them individually and tell them the news. So that gave me confirmation that I was on the right track, that I didn't get a big pushback from my investors, that I was shutting it down.
That's intriguing. So, all right, let's dig into the purpose for you then, or even the kindness. Who did you learn how to be kind from?
Well, That's a great question. I would say that I've learned kindness both from my former wife and my children. I've learned how to. It's interesting because when I met my former wife, she was definitely the most caring, thoughtful, kindest person I met, and I definitely looked up to her as how do I become more like her? And then after we had kids, I realized how my kids were even more kind to others, and how I wanted to be more like them. So those are the people in my life I would say that I've learned kindness and caring from.
That's super cool. Tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Another great question. I would say affirmations is something that I've done consistently over the last 3 years. Just saying words to yourself. I've learned from Mike Dooley that Mike Dooley is the New York Times bestselling author of the book Infinite Possibilities. And I learned from Mike Dooley that in that book and in his teachings, he talks about how you're mentally and physically stronger when you're affirming empowering beliefs, and you're actually mentally and physically weaker when you're affirming limiting beliefs. And so I've really gotten into that and started doing affirmations every morning to just improve my self-confidence and just make me think that I'm in the right place and going in the right direction.
Do you have any regrets looking back from now till then? The guy who created the hedge fund, the guy that broke that board, being the guy who is kind and caring in the way he teaches. Do you have any regrets? How do you feel about what you've accomplished?
I don't. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And as I mentioned, I'm divorced, and I will tell you, I create my whole life. I created that situation, and it was, a very, very difficult situation. When I was divorced, with young kids, my kids were 1.5 and 3.5 at the time. But I will tell you, from that, I've learned so much. I am in the place I am now because of that experience. And so I don't have any regrets in my life. I think everything happens for a reason. Every experience is a learning experience to learn and grow from.
And how do you feel?
I feel awesome.
That's great. I love that. Wonderful. Where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you, Joel?
So my website is either joelsalomon.com or Salomor, that's SALAURMOR.com. So Salomor is named after my daughters, Lauren and Morgan.
Oh, love it. Love it. All right. Well, Joel, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Joel, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is being with my uncle when I was probably around 4 years old, and he was showing me coins from around the globe, from places he had been, from Germany and the French francs and shekels from Israel, all these places he had been. That's my earliest memory.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think it's so clear because I have a huge passion for traveling, and it opened my eyes to the reality of how large the world really is, and all the different places with all these different coins representing all the different cultures of the world, and how everyone's different but the same. And so it gave me the passion to actually be interested in exploring that world.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Well, like I said, I have a huge passion for traveling. I've now traveled to over 40 countries.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, I've been to every single state in the United States.
Wow.
I just did that last year, 2018, got to Alaska. And I still have so much I want to explore. I really enjoy meeting people from all these different cultures. A lot of Asia I still have not been to. And I really have this desire to really travel to all the different ends of the earth, to explore the different cultures and meet new people. You know, like I said, everyone's may appear to be different on the surface, but inside we're all the same. We all have a beautiful heart and love, and I want to meet all those people who look different on the outside, but we're all the same on the inside.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Absolutely.
I love the beauty of what is investment. Those coins could have been seen as not even dollars in some instances, but from the perspective of an investor, if you invested the coins, yes, it could have turned into more money. Agreed. However,
Absolutely.
your uncle giving you that option then through his kindness, that the returns on that are unlimited in terms of what you've become by, as well as being the investor guy that delved into that part of it. But for the guy that broke the block in helping people and wanting to help people, and again, by the travels you've done, I'm amazed by what that investment brought in terms of ROI.
No, it's a great perspective. Thank you for illuminating it even more.
You're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
My Sharona by the Knack.
All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Joel?
Yes.
Joel, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Absolutely. My daughter's Lorna Morgan, but also as many people as I can to teach them about the basics of finance, to teach them about money mindset. I'm actually teaching the Boy Scouts of America right now, and I want to teach as many kids as possible because no one really is taught about the truth around money. They learn from osmosis, but I want to be able to teach them the truth that they were born in abundance and prosperity.
Love it. Now, you aren't married right now. You have 2 daughters. Do you believe in God?
I believe that God is in all of us, that it's not outside of us, but we all have the essence of God in us.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Absolutely. I have really close friends. My oldest friend, believe it or not, I've known him for 48 years.
Wow. Wow. Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
No.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
It's less than 1 hour a day.
Wow, Joel, I didn't believe you would say that. I'm thinking investment, you're on the screen. Wow. All right, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Joel Salomon, what would you say that is?
I believe in you.
I love it, Joe. This was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I am currently writing my next book. It's going to be talking about unconventional money rules, and I'd love to give anyone who's listening an advance copy for 99 cents if they go to solomon.com or joelsolomon.com. Just reach out to me. I'd love to give them that opportunity.
Love it. We'll definitely have that link in the show notes. Amazing audience. Again, Joel Salomon, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thanks so much, Angel. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.